Okay, so this recording will be available on Twitter. I don't know where I'm going to park it on a website just yet. But welcome everyone to the Open Chat with Google Innovators. And if you're thinking of applying for Google Innovator Program in 2020, this is the place to be. And these are the people to meet. So I am here in Australia, and this is the protocols that we follow when we are having a gathering, whether we are having a physical gathering or a virtual gathering. And I am here between the Gumbaynggirr Nation and the Dangari Nation, where we live here on the beautiful east coast of New South Wales. So I am going to pay respects and acknowledge and pay respects to elders past and present emerging of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander nations who long before us lived, loved and raised their children on this land. We acknowledge all the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families in our community and acknowledge their physical and spiritual connections to their land. We come together today to learn and to share and to journey together, and journey we will. So I'm just going to go back one because I am just having an issue here. So in the introduction in the chat, would you please add your name and your Twitter handle and the cohort if you are an innovator, please. And also if you've got any questions, you have been adding them to the submission sign-on form. So I've tried to categorise some of the information to try and help steer our conversation. So I'm Leslie Altman. I am Google Innovator, Sydney 19. And there's my Twitter handle there. And I've popped a few of the icons that could be represented today, and I'm sure there are a lot more. So make sure that you put your name and Twitter handle in there, and people, if you follow people that are the kind of people that you want to chat with and direct message and ask more questions. We're only here to help you. So this is the fifth Open Chat Innovators, and I can hear someone else coming in, so I'm just going to have to pop out of that. Sorry, I don't know why this is doing this. So here's Naomi here. Okay, then I'm just going to go back to this. Sorry, everyone, but this is going to happen through it, I think. This is a little thing we have to tweak later on. So this is the fifth Open Chat with Innovators. I'm holding them every 2 weeks on a weekend. It could be a Sunday for you. The times are going to vary to try and suit your time zone. And the innovators are here online to help you and to answer your questions and to calm you down through the application process. And that sign-on form I do advertise. And I put this together because I know when I applied, it was a fairly rocky road and I was not confident. And what I should have done is reached out to innovators, but I didn't know where they were. And then I felt embarrassed, like, why would they want to talk to me? And I got to the point where I had filled in the application form. It was a great journey to prepare me for my year's goals. But I was just actually wasting time fretting about, look, am I really good enough? Should I be doing this? And I left the last page, the submit button, I left it for about 6 hours. And I thought I might press it. And I cannot believe that I felt like that. And I don't want anyone to feel like that. So that's why I had this idea to put this chat together and bring innovators together so you can ask questions and reach out and connect with them. So submit I did. I nearly didn't because I thought, well, I really would be telling the truth if I said to people, I didn't get in. But it wasn't to be. I decided to hit submit and I have not looked back. So that's why the Innovator Open Chat is here, and if you are feeling like Big Bird at the table, don't worry, we all do, and we all do sometime during every day. So just remember that, because we don't often say that, but we're here to help you and calm you down. Now the 2020 cohorts, I might leave it at this slide for a few moments. Because I know there were questions around the cohorts for 2020. The 2 English-speaking cohorts are in Sunnyvale, and that's in July, and Sydney in August. And the 2 Spanish-speaking cohorts are in Madrid in October, And the one in Mexico was probably to be, I think, pretty well now. I've forgotten the date, and it has been postponed down to the end of the year in December. So I know there were quite a few questions around the cohorts. Are they still going to be on? We don't have any of those answers. We only listen to what the Innovator program managers are saying, that they have invested, Google has invested, and to support us, the people who are going to apply. The Mexican cohort has been postponed to the end of the year. So I know there were some questions there. So innovators can talk underwater if you put us all together. So don't let us get going. But if there are any questions there, any innovators would like to answer. People are popping in. Someone's applying for Sydney. Are there any questions? You can turn your mic on and ask a question, and one of the innovators will be able to answer you. It's all informal, it's off the cuff, so we're here to help you and make connections and get to know you. So there's a few people looking at Sydney and Sunnyvale. That'd be wonderful. So there's no more questions there. I might go on to the next slide because we can come back to this. So don't be shy. Put your mic on and ask some questions, because there is that apprehension. And as I said, I nearly didn't hit the submit button. I'd gone right through the application and I didn't hit the submit button, and I'm so glad I did. And at the time I was reading Brené Brown, Dare to Lead, and this sentence really stuck in my mind. You can't get to courage without rumbling the vulnerability. So embrace the suck. And I that's just really stuck with me. And during that rumbling the vulnerability stages, and I still use these phrases, just do it. Just have a go and just do it. And something we learned in the academies was about failing forward. So if you feel as if you failed, it's not the end. It is bumping you into the next challenge. It's helping you move forward. So the application, I know there were quite a few questions about the application, and I borrowed this from Stephanie Rothstein's slide show from yesterday. And I think Abid, you talked about the application for the Google Innovator. The application steps there, what you need to do before you apply. So any innovators that want to pop in and comment on the application process, and I know Abid's got some really good pointers about the videos, and I think it's 90 seconds now, isn't it? Because we had 60 seconds last year.
Yes, so the application's been tweaked slightly this year. So last year we had 60 seconds to talk about ourselves and our challenges. This year it's been changed up a little bit, so there's 90 seconds now. So what the program is looking for prospective innovators to do is spend the first 30 seconds talking about yourself, talking about your googliness, your eccentricity, or your wackiness, as Luis, our friend, likes to say, and then spend the next 60 seconds talking about your challenge. And I think the thing that my personal advice would be, sell yourself, show your passion. Show that you care about the problem. One of the things that they tell us, that one of the phrases they tell us in the academy is fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And that is probably your golden rule. Do not go anywhere near a solution. That is number one. If you don't want to get accepted, talk about a solution. That is it. I speak to so many innovators who didn't get in on the first, second, or third time, and they say it's because they had a sniff of a solution. And the thing to remember is the solution is for the academy. those 3 days you'll spend working hard on finding a solution to your challenge. But it's only if you come in with an open mind and come in with having looked really, really deep into your problem and into your challenge, that you will really appreciate the work that goes in to going for a solution and all the design thinking that goes on behind it. So that's probably my key golden rule is when you're talking about, when you're doing your video and you're talking about your problem, be passionate about the problem. In the application as well, try to show your passion about why you care about this issue that you want to solve, and about the issue itself. Look for think big. Look for something that is that is scalable on a global stage, and there's nothing stopping you. That's the mindset that you need to have. Is there's nothing stopping you from going global at all. You don't have to look
that when you're all done at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I wanted to piggyback on that, because so many things that he was saying really resonated with me. So hi, for those who I don't know, I'm Stephanie Rothstein, and prior to applying for Innovator, I went to a 3-day, a different academy that actually sparked me going. I live in California, and I went to Stanford's Design Thinking Conference at their D School. And at the end of that 3-day event that was for educators, they had you develop your own "How might we" statement. And it was after developing that I went, that was the start of the Innovator application. Maybe I should use this and just go for it. And I would say that the process of actually developing that question is in itself a journey. And I think that the people that I have connected with who really get the most out of the process itself and then get in eventually are people who are really thoughtful about that question, because they're not long, right? So I think that maybe it's because I'm an English teacher, but I think each word has meaning within your "How might we" statement. And so as you analyze, what am I putting to paper, and you analyze each part of your "How might we" statement, I just think that in itself will help you develop then how you want to make your video, how you want to then move forward. But I feel like at the crux of it all, that question really is at the heart of it, because it will hold you up in the process of applying until you have something. At least for me, I felt like I didn't have anything that was big enough to actually go for this, to put on paper. And it wasn't until I went through my own kind of process of development. And when I did it, I had a mentor that I had found on Twitter before there was any sort of community. And she was an innovator. And I sent her my stuff, and she wrote me back and said, "Your question, you're applying it only to the grade level you teach and the area where you are. Why can't it be bigger?" Like, she just started to prod and ask me questions about why it couldn't be bigger. And so I just think being able to share it, coming to a place like this, what Leslie's doing is amazing, because I think the more input that you can get, it can help you grow your own perspective, because I wouldn't have thought that way and probably wouldn't have been accepted had I not had some advice in the process.
That's really good advice, Stephanie. I'm watching the chat here as well, and Stephanie's already invited people to talk to the community that we have here online today. So just introduce yourself if you are not an innovator, and where you are from. So turn your mic on, and so pop in and introduce yourself. So we've got Melissa, we've got Alfonso.
Yes. My name is, I'm Melissa Summerford. I'm from Waller, Texas. It's just outside of Houston area. This will be, and I'm an instructional technologist there at an elementary school. So this will be my 3rd time to apply. But I did take that advice. I wish I already applied, so too late. so I did talk with I met an innovator who's happened to be on the same team that I with Wanda Wanda Terrell. So I talked with her and I was like, oh gosh, you got to be my best friend right now. I started asking her questions. And so she kind of looked over my video, and then I got some other perspective from another friend. But that really did help to get me to think deeper, because now I look at my first 2 applications and this is completely different. And I'm just hoping third time's a
Oh,
charm.
wow. Oh, wow. Good luck, Melissa. That's great.
Thank you.
Excellent. Who else is not an innovator and has come to join us today?
Hello.
Come on,
Hey, everybody.
Alfonso.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alfonso. I'm from Texas. I'm an instructional technologist for our district. So this will be my second time applying. The first time I kind of went in there not really knowing too much about what it took to become an innovator as far as the application and the quality and things of that sort. So I just kind of went at it just kind of like as a learning experience and be like, okay, I'll take it as a learning experience. But one of the best things that happened was, you know, on Twitter when I posted like, hey, you know what, I didn't get in. I had at that time, I didn't know this person was an innovator, but I followed them on Twitter and they reached out immediately and said, hey, next time you apply, like, let me know. I can look over your application, look over what it is that you're doing. And sure enough, it's paid dividends because I've gotten to meet so many wonderful innovators and people that are able to encourage you, that are able to guide you. And that's something that's been wonderful. And many of you here, actually, the innovators that are here have been the ones that have been very helpful and have kind of taken me under their wing in helping me answer questions and just making me feel not incapable of doing this or feeling that imposter syndrome state, making me feel confident and saying, you know what, I'm going to just go for it. And if it goes well, it goes well. If not, I always go back to like Frederick, always being a very encouraging person. You know, he got in after various times in applying, and I mean, he's doing some wonderful stuff, and I've had the opportunity to meet him. So it's been a great experience. So I encourage everybody that has only if this is your first time, please reach out to all of these wonderful people on Twitter, follow them, ask them questions, because everybody's been very helpful. So I'm very thankful for the community.
Excellent. Adam, you've got, have you got something to add to that? Adam is our Sydney 19 cohort member from, actually, we are in our first year anniversary.
1 year today, we graduated.
1 year today.
Mm-hmm.
So hi, Adam, introduce yourself and what you've been up to.
Yeah, I'm Adam Hill. I'm from Sydney 19. And yeah, I just unmuted because I've got a couple of things to add to that. Alfonso is right. The community is really amazing and everyone is so kind and generous. So I think that's not an accident. I think they choose people based on, you know, getting the best people that are going to be nice and look out for each other. So make that clear in your application. And the other thing I wanted to add is that, especially for people who have applied multiple times, I think the academies and the application process have evolved in recent years. So, you know, check, you know, how it's changed. Make sure you're applying to meet the criteria now, because I think it has changed a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. I mean, even like even from the 60-second to the 90-second video length has changed, but certainly, as Abid said, do not even hint that you've got an idea for a solution, because you're not going to get in.
But in the past, I think they did make videos about the solution, and some of those are still on YouTube, so don't be influenced by those. It's changed.
The other thing, Leslie, is because it's the 12 months mentoring after the academy, you can fall in love with the solution after the academy in itself. I've been mentoring a guy from Singapore last year, and basically he's been for a long time, even after the academy, 3 months after the academy, he was still struggling to find his solution. Yet now he's fully in love with his problem and his solution, and he's in the process of scaling that to a global level. So it does take time, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's really good. It does take time. And I mean, we talk about pivoting. When we get an idea, a project, we start developing it, finding solutions at the academy. And then often you know, there's a failure, and there's actually a fail bill. Who'd like to talk about the fail bill and show our guests how you've rung the bell. Yes, yeah, Stephanie. Who wants to talk about the fail bell and how it's been turned into a positive experience?
I can.
Yep.
And my fail bell didn't necessarily happen at the academy. It happened about 4 months on. So I had come up with a solution, something that I thought would address my how might we. And then besides being into the tech stuff, I'm a music educator. So I went to a music education convention and found someone had already built what I was going to do. So what I was planning to make already exists. So I rang that fail bell and then pivoted. So I'm doing something similar, but at the same time, different enough. But I mean, yeah, there's right when you think you have everything under control, you get to address that fail bell, not necessarily at the academy, but further down the road. Stephanie, you said you had the same thing? Ringing it later, that is?
Yeah, I did. I want to hear other people's, but yeah, and I just added that since the academy, I think I've used like pivot, not in basketball terms, but in life a lot. That I think I truly do look at those moments. I had moments even with my own staff, nothing to do with Innovator, where we were having a lot of trouble and people were upset about all these new changes that were coming. And I said, look, it just means we need to pivot. Let's just figure it out. And I don't know, something about that word even helped us all just calm in this situation that felt very much like chaos, going, all right, we just need to, let's just figure it out, a workaround, a pivot. Let's think in a new way. So super helpful for me.
It's really a great.
Like I think hi guys, I'm Naomi from Ireland originally, but I'm part of the Singapore group #SEA19 and whoop, whoop. But I think like I'm teaching in New Zealand currently, and I really resonate with the idea of like having to grow with it, because I think it's natural for us to hold on to something and be like, wow, I've got it, I've got the solution, I've got the answer for something. But I think I was talking to my mentor quite a lot about the idea of the journey. And I think every single time I learn something new, it adds on to the problem that I'm trying to solve. I think the idea of loving the problem really is important, because you keep coming back to that. And I think the idea is tied together more and more the more that you fail. I think whenever I have the solution, it's like the idea of like the first idea isn't always the best idea, but you can still build on it. Because I'm finding myself, even though like the idea that I had in Singapore, it still is kind of the core of what I've created, but it's changed completely as what I envisioned it to look like. And I think that's like that keeping on adding to it, keeping on growing with it, and just not holding on to the idea that you had in the first place. I think that's what I've definitely changed my approach to as a big thing. But yeah,
absolutely. I agree with you. I think I've pivoted and backflipped so many times in this last 12 months. I think I've done myself a mischief, but it's right at the core is why I, the basis of my how might we statement. And and so it's not failing, it's failing forward, and it's pivoting, it's changing direction. But because you're in love with that problem, you are really passionate about trying to make a difference for teachers or for students or for your community, to help them.
Yeah, I'd really like when she said you have to love your problem. And I think too, like Stephanie, pivot is always the right word, because it could mean a completely different direction, or it could just mean like a tweak. And so I think that's why the word has just become so synonymous with what we're doing. But yeah, could not agree with Naomi more about, you have to just love your problems. And, that's like the core of everything, and your solutions, that'll come. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Has anyone started filling? Or I know, I think it was Melissa had said that she's already underway with her application. Has anyone been daunted with the application process and the wording? I know when I thought, I can fill this in, and I had about 800 words, and I thought 130 words. It was like the Condo Marie of literature, and I had to really strip it back. And as Stephanie Rothstein said, every word counts, and you really, really look at what you're trying to say and keep it concise. So is anyone else trying to fill in their application? Thank goodness now you can save it and walk away. I think 2 or 3 years ago they couldn't save it and walk away. They just had to do it. So who? So who else is working on their application now?
Yeah, so I've been. Hi, everybody. I'm Ted. I'm an instructional technology coach from New Jersey, and I've been working on this application. And it does feel a little bit like I've been back in college because I've been doing like the word count thing. And so it's like, it's helped me, I think, to do the word count, because then when I got to the video, I didn't feel so bad when I had to cut a lot of things out of the video too. So I've kind of gone back and forth, but this is my second time applying for what it's worth. I applied for New York the first time, and obviously that was way too close and convenient for me to be able to get into, you know, being from New Jersey. So, but what it did was, though, like, I think the problem I went with last time, I may have hinted at a solution, but I think that for me, the problem was more something that I was kind of stuck in at work, and it was affecting other people. And the approach I'm really trying to take now is look at somebody else's problem and really kind of focus on that. And it's given me like a different perspective. Plus, too, not getting in the first time has kind of pushed me to really take like a more global approach instead of just looking at the district. So like a lot of times I'll like bug Adam every other week on his Twitter chat, or like I've been in a couple of these informal meetups with you guys, Leslie. So and all that's been helpful too, because each time I sit down and do it, I do kind of feel that imposter syndrome. Like, am I really doing this? Should I be spending the time? Can I be doing something else for, you know, work or that type of thing? And once I kind of fight through that, I can spend a little more time working on it. So for me personally, if nothing else, it's been a good growth process.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with you, Ted. And that imposter syndrome can really pull you down, and you just can't waste time over feeling like that. Just get in and do it, because every one of us can tell you a story about how we felt like the big bird at the table. Yeah, it is ongoing. Thanks, Maria. It really is ongoing. Any other aspiring innovators? So yes, please. Is it Alpha?
I'm not an innovator yet. Hopefully will be one day.
You're breaking up. Yes, you're breaking up. So you aren't an innovator just yet. Your microphone's breaking up.
Can you hear me clearly now?
No.
Okay, 1 second then. Let me just change my sound preferences. How is it now?
Oh, hello.
Okay, so I have listed that I want to solve, and there's 23 of them. I know that I have to choose one.
Oh, you got to choose the one that you really, really, it's really bugging you. You've got to fix it.
Yeah, so all are related to education. I would need help how to craft the questions or the problems. Like, do they have to be something like, if anyone has done any educational research, does it have to be like in the format of a proposal where you do a little bit of literature research background and craft the question, focus on the problem, and then come up with a research question?
So who'd like to answer that one? There's a couple of people here. Yes, Brian.
It doesn't have to be that detailed, as in the full-on research, but you might want to present it as a research question. For example, in my own situation, that's what I did. I presented it as a research question. However, any of the literature side of things, you do that through the process. So it's not necessarily focusing on the research at the start. It's more research as you go through, because once you start getting into the research, you start seeing solutions, and that's not what they're after. They're after you just focusing on the problem.
That's good. Thanks, Brian. There is a website, and I must find it. It's called The Fourth Word. I think that's what the blog, it's a blog post, and it's the fourth word. And it's the fourth word in your how might we statement, like inspire or encourage, or and that's I'll have to do a little bit of Googling here, but I'm sure it's called the fourth word, and it's a blog post. And that really helped me in my how might we inspire, teachers too. So so are there any other people that wanted to contribute to Alpa's a question about the how might we statement? It really just has to be simple and concise, and something that even, there's a ribbon text in your video that reinforces this is my problem, and it pops in just to remind the viewer of the video who is judging your video on the application really knows exactly what you're on about. And just a note on any links to any Word documents, files, images, your certificate for the your level 2 or your video, make sure that anyone with a link can view it. So test that out in an incognito window, test it out with your other identity self, or test it out and send it to your spouse or your children or one of your mates, because if a Google program person is judging your work and they're thinking, oh, this is pretty good, and then they click on the video and they can't access it, they don't contact you. So they'll just go on to the next person on the list. So do make sure. It's just such a simple thing that can undermine everything. Anyone else have any questions? Or, Alpa, is there any other questions that you'd like to ask the group?
Well, I can't take everyone's time listing all 23 of them now, but
what's the one that really bugs you?
Well, yeah, I'll just choose one of them.
Okay.
After achieving proficient level of teacher registration, this is an Australian lingo. Teachers do not have an obligation to advance their teaching careers through highly accomplished or lead teaching. Many teachers are already at the highly accomplished or lead level, but they do not go for certification to advance themselves in their career. So this is just one thing that
So you're looking to try and find ways to inspire teachers to continue their learning, their growth.
Yes, that's one problem that I thought of.
Yeah, I think a lot of innovators are faced with that. People fall in a slump and think, right, I'm here, got my degree, got my diploma, I'm fine, I've arrived. And that learning goes on all the time. And I think especially at this time with teachers working in remote or blended learning situations, I know a lot of innovators in this chat have been working almost round the clock supporting teachers that have said, you told me last year how to do Google Classroom, can you show me again now? So it really has pushed people to, and all of us actually. I mean, I think, well, I know Google Classroom, but I'll look at rubrics and I'll look at some of the originality reports a little bit later. I didn't have a really good grasp on it, so I certainly had to push myself and drive myself and not be driven. So that's really that is a big problem, and it does get up my nose. So thanks, Alpa. Is there anyone else who has a question that you want to ask the innovators? Or innovators, if you want to talk about what has the innovator experience done for you professionally, personally? I mean, why did you do it? What makes you tick now differently than you ticked before? Adam's got his mic off. What have you got to say, Adam?
Yeah, I was just going to talk about the how might we questions just before we move on.
Thanks, Adam.
Just because I totally agree with Stephanie. Really think about it carefully and choose your words carefully. And that's good advice from Leslie about the fourth word. But even your how might we question can be changed at the academy, or you can tweak it at the academy. So don't feel like you're totally stuck on that one question. Leslie, that's a good question about. I think that the academy has just been completely life-changing. I know everybody will say the same thing. It's just completely shifted my mindset on how we can approach things and design things and just solve problems. And just joining this amazing community. Yeah, it's just been completely life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else want to add to Adam's thoughts? You know, how do you tick differently now as an innovator than the way you approached problems, issues, challenges before becoming an innovator?
For me, it was I kind of wanted to be edu-famous, so that's why I applied. And
Toxic personality here.
And then when I got in, it completely changed me as a person, the experience, and I was focused on myself when I was problem solving, like just in teaching, like what's best for me, not what's best for the kids, or what's best for me instead of the teachers. So that was earth-shattering when they make you focus on the user. And I really learned a lot about myself and how to reach people and be more patient with people. And what's Avid saying? And it's just been really beneficial. So I don't know, the experience is just so great. And you have so many opportunities after the academy.
Absolutely, and you know, it's so great to be part of Innovators after the academy. I mean, we didn't stick to our 2019 Sydney group. We found other people. We became cross-cohort groups, and it's just grown. And now we're in a lot of mad groups as well, planning and supporting teachers, and especially during this time, it's been a great support to be able to connect with each other.
I'd like to add
Leslie,
some more.
that's why it seems. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, ladies first.
Melissa?
I was going to say that's why it seems so great, because you're part of this bigger community where you can learn from each other and grow with each other, and it just seems like a fantastic opportunity to be a part of this group. Or if I have a question, I can reach out to this group and ask them, and that's really where I want it. I want to be a part of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, and a lot of the group that I've, been invited into are in the Northern Hemisphere, I wake up in the morning to like 300 messages. And when my alarm goes off, and then the phone starts vibrating, after my morning alarm, and it'll start vibrating, and it's moving along the desk, the bedside table, and my husband says, your friends are awake.
I know, but see, I love that. I love that constant talk about how can we fix this? How can we do this? I just can't turn it off.
Yeah, it is. It's explosive. Someone will come up with an idea. And I mean, Clay has been coding while we have actually been chatting. Someone said, I wish slides wouldn't reveal themselves as we are doing a presentation. And I mean, me being practical and square, I just said, well, don't share the slide at the beginning of the presentation. But everyone else got into a deeper aspect and said, how can we stop people from going ahead 2 slides, and we're presenting on slide 7 and they're asking questions pertaining to slide 9, and someone said, what is Clay doing over there? Because in the grid view we can see Clay's down and he's working. So there's been some really exciting outcomes from all the chatter. So Gary, introduce yourself please, Gary.
Hi, I'm Gary Garcia from the Philippines. I am part of the Southeast Asia 2014 cohort, and I was a coach last 2019 in Singapore. I just want to add something to the professional development who don't want to grow anymore. After joining the 2014, before joining 2014, I've been teaching the same thing all over again, the same topic, same content. But I'm not getting tired of teaching because I love my students. But with the topic, it seems like I don't grow anymore. But after joining the 2014, I realized that there's a lot to learn. So maybe we can show that there's more to learn aside from the content. It's more on how we develop ourselves as professionals, as teachers, to better impart our knowledge, because the way we were taught and the way we teach before may not be appropriate or relevant anymore, because the learning styles of students are changing, And yes, I agree also to the comment earlier that we learn from each other, and the family of innovators are very helpful to me because they've been sharing a lot of things. When you post something to the group, they are suggesting on how you can improve what you have prepared. That's it.
Yeah, very good, Gary. I mean, we get our curriculum, and even at the moment with probably any teacher around the world, the curriculum is really created for a different learning environment than we are at the moment. And our training has prepared us for, like before COVID. I call it BC, DC, and AC. So BC is before COVID, DC is during COVID, and AC, we've got no idea what it's going to be like, and we're going to have to really rely on our innovative thoughts and growth mindset to change the way education is going to be seen and felt for the betterment of our students and learning outcomes.
Yeah.
So Leslie's talking about rock, but Abbott, like if you got something to say, step up to the line, step up and say something, and you have about 30 seconds to say it.
I've got far too much to say in 30 seconds, Leslie. But no, something that Melissa was just saying about the family and things like that. Definitely, what I always say to prospective innovators: make sure you reach out to the community. Follow the Google EI hashtag. Don't be afraid to ask for support with your application. Before you press submit, make sure you reach out to any existing innovator, ask them to take a look at application. I haven't yet seen anyone who's not happy to do it. Reach out to as many innovators as you want, and someone will be happy to look at it. And that's, I think, one thing that I definitely think it plays into your advantage is growing your PLN. Be active on Twitter. Just celebrate what you do. So what people always say to me is that how do you get into Twitter? What do you do? How do you tweet? Just tweet what you're doing. We're all doing amazing things in education, especially now, but even before COVID-19, we were doing amazing things, inspiring children, inspiring our future generations. But yet we're only celebrating it in those four walls. Let's break down those four walls and celebrate it on a global scale, and reach out to other people. That's the way to succeed. I think in definitely building your PLN and getting out there.
I think I really agree with because I think I whenever I was at the Innovators, I done interviews with a lot of us, and I think a lot of it came out was whenever you're sharing, it's not about showing off. I think it was actually Adam was sharing that point, and it's you think sometimes whenever you're posting about stuff, it's about showing off. To Adam, you wanted that conversation, but I think it's you can feel like you're showing. People might think you're showing off. You might think that that's what it is, but actually it's about sharing each other's experiences and you growing together. And I've learned so much from people sharing what they do in the classroom or what they're feeling or what they're doing. And I think that's what it is. It's about that growth together. But I think it's realizing that we all go through tough times. And my biggest takeaway from the Innovator Project and just Twitter in general is actually sometimes as teachers it does get really tough and it does get really you can have the downward spirals. But then whenever I see my friends on Twitter or my people innovators, that really spurs me on to pick myself back up again and think about the solution and think about what else can we do. And I think like you're saying about the family part of it, sometimes teachers aren't as passionate in the skill that you're working in, or maybe they're kind of in their little bubble. But I really enjoyed the family aspect because I can really be me because I'm excited about stuff. I'm really passionate, and I think it gives you that outlet to be able to be like that rather than having people be like, oh my god, she's at that again, she's doing that again, she's off in that new tangent again, here she goes. But whenever I'm in my sphere of Twitter or whenever I'm in the innovator group, it really it amps me up to be the person who I actually want to be, which is a cool cool aspect of it. So
yeah, absolutely, I agree with that, Naomi. Because of it, at school, I'm e-learning mentor, so I'm working a lot with teachers online now. But when I was in school full time, I mean, I'd come into the staff room and I'd say, "Oh, look, I've got this great idea," and people would literally be doing combat roles. You know, like, where did everyone go?
They like avoid you in the corridors. And
That's right, they'll see you.
Yes, that's so true. And our another idea, what else do you have?
I know, but you
even
only need to.
even Facebook turns out to be, there's so many groups on Facebook, you know, like I found a lot of connections just through that. I'm sure my family thinks I'm nuts now because I share things on my Facebook, and, you know, I've had my Facebook forever, but it's who I am, and I just want to be who I am. And this just seems like a good opportunity.
I think you do have to do you. You have to do you. You have to do you in a Google EI way. But each one of us has our own quirky approaches to improving, stretching our mind, growth mindset, and it's just who we are. So do you, and do you in in your applications as well.
And Leslie, having an online presence, I think, is part of the application. It will ask you, which platforms you're on, and it's not about being edu-famous. It's not about having 1 million subscribers. That doesn't matter. But if you're contributing to online spaces, you're helping other people, you're influencing other people in positive ways, that's great. So what you're doing, Melissa, sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. And Adam, you do that really well. You have a great presence, and you're not pushy, you're not overpowering, but you have a really great presence online, and people, people want to follow you and learn from you as well. You just got a really nice way to do it.
That actually was the one part of the application that probably scared me the most, because I didn't. I'm so glad that Adam said that, because I wasn't sure when I was putting down like my stuff, if they looked at it and I thought, oh no, they're gonna see I don't have that many like people following me, right? Like all that. Then I would say, other than that part of it, because I hadn't looked as in depth, I think, as others, and I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would have been scared. But then, so I went for kind of without all of this, which I think released some of the fear for me. But then in talking later, like talking to Andy Caffrey, when he talks about, they start to look at people. But I love the lens that Adam just shared, is it isn't about the number. It really is about what is your online presence like? Who are you interacting with, and how are you spending your time? And are you out there helping, sharing resources freely, giving of your time to support other people? Are you helping with questions that are out there? So those pieces. And when I realized that, but I only realized it in hindsight, and I went, oh, and I think that's what, as educators, that's what we do. Or I think many aspire to do, is feel like you're actually serving a need. So if you're out there using your social media for that purpose of actually serving others and serving a need, then I think that you're using it to its greatest potential. And hopefully that's what they'll see. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we all want to make a difference. And I know if you put an algorithm on like a Twitter account, and so people who just sat there and watched are not making a difference. And the people who perhaps just like a few things, well, they're starting to make a difference because they're giving their opinion. And then if people are retweeting or reposting on Facebook and then adding a comment and saying, this has made a difference, I've just changed my teaching approach because of this great idea. And then I think that the top end of that is when you start your own post and say, look, I've just discovered this and I've tried it and this was the outcome. And you're starting to make a difference on your social media, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter. But I've got a couple of different accounts. I've got my Twitter account, which is professional, and then my Facebook. Really, I just check, which bridge is flooded around here, or local government, or oysters were on sale last week, $12 a dozen, because there's no restaurants buying good quality oysters. Yes.
I have heard about these oysters.
Oh, they're all gone. I couldn't take a photo.
I'm jealous. But no, I agree. I didn't have like a big, I think the trainer application helped me because I did that first. And so like I had made a Twitter and I had done like a landing page, and I started to use my page, not necessarily just send to a lot of people, but like if I was at a training and I wanted to give them the slide deck, I just had a page that I sent everybody to with a short link. And it was me being lazy. But then I put that on I absolutely assumed I was not getting in. Still don't know how I got in. So like I had that page to put on my application. So yeah, don't freak out if you're not, like there are some edu-famous people in this chat. But I wasn't, still not. So you can totally get in. You just have to take the jump. I think I was too naive to even know I shouldn't even have any business applying. So you could be like me and just jump on in there.
Absolutely. So we're coming to a close for this hour, and if there are any people who are aspiring to become an innovator, are about to put their application in, want to ask some questions, just please pop in now. Don't be shy. And if you want to hop on again and ask some more questions, Clay's left the meeting again. I'm just a bit suspicious about what he's trying something out here. So please pop on and turn your mic on and ask some questions, because we're here for you. He's back again.
Hi,
Hi, Evan.
how's it going? I'm kind of like an imposter syndrome here. I'm just kind of sitting in the background.
No big birds here.
No, I'm just going through a few ideas and stuff, and I was just thanks for having me in the meeting and stuff. And I didn't actually realize, because it was only recently there until someone said to me when the whole lockdown happened, and we just got told there this week that our schools won't be starting back till September, October time. But the many people that are contacting me about Google Classroom, Google Drive things, and things I take for granted, because I just think, oh, you just do this, you do this. But a lot of educators who don't realize the impact that it has in the classroom, and I've been using Google Classroom particularly for the last two years in particular. So I'm just trying to come up with ideas and things in my head, but I think I'm trying to create like massive ideas. They're probably too big. So trying to scale it down, but I think I was looking too close to the solution rather than just the idea itself. So like I have ideas, but then I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting so bogged down about how to solve that problem that it kind of put me off the application completely. So now I'm looking forward to kind of just going through now, and I think the how might you statement kind of got to me a little bit, because you kind of, and even going through like I'm on Twitter and I share some things, but I definitely wouldn't have a lot of, and I kind of think, well, you kind of look at other people think, oh sure, that already exists or someone else is already doing that, and you kind of think, but how could I bring it down to my own level and my own kids first, and then bring that to this stage. So I'm kind of at that stage. I'm kind of over and back. Definitely the imposter syndrome there. But no, thanks very much. I think I'll have another one and see how we go.
That's good. That's good, Evan. I mean, make sure that you copy the whole chat out. Do it now, everyone. Copy the chat out and keep that as a reference. And look for people on Twitter. Most of us have a Twitter handle. Look for us and help. Ask us to help refine your statement, because when you get to the academy, once that statement has pulled you through into the academy, then you're placed into teams. Then you have team coaches. So then the academy of 30 or 36 people are then down to teams of 6, and your coach is there to help you refine your statement or ring the fail bell. Now I'm going to change direction completely and pivot here. And then when you leave, you are assigned a mentor for 12 months. So then you have another relationship with a person who has gone through this process and is able to help you keep refining. And I think I've had 3 mini projects over the last 12 months. Each one has been small. Each one has made a difference to the people I've worked with. Now, they haven't been big, world-shattering ones, but each one has made a difference, which helps me keep growing my mindset, stretching my thinking. So, yeah, some good points there, Evan. Thanks, Bonnie. I'm trying hard. Anyone else want to pop in and ask some questions? Don't be shy.
Real quick, I'm not going to ask a question. I'm just going to say something.
Okay, Stephanie.
I won't say anything that will get myself to be made fun of. Hopefully.
Look, I've got my finger on Abbott. I'm ready to kick him out.
Push him out. Okay. But one thing that really I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. In the academy, you kind of take on everybody's project. Like they were really pushing, this isn't just your project, it's our project. And at the academy, I was like, oh, that makes me feel better because I'm not alone and everybody's here to help me. But really, I've taken on like 20 different projects and I'm exhausted, but it's worth it. Yes, collaboration is what Kevin just said.
Yeah, absolutely. Collaboration, and you know, you're supporting each other. And when you are in these groups, whether it's during the academy, straight after the academy with your cohort, or cross cohorts as the weeks and months go on, you know, there's chatter. There might be some chatter about movies and food, and then someone pops in and says, "I have a problem," and the whole chat stops. And then everyone says, so what's your problem? How can I help? And all you have to do is float it out there. And that's why I wanted to start this open chat with innovators. Just float it out there in an informal way. So we're just about time's up now. So please pop it on with your microphone if there's anything you want to ask or make a last comment. Yes, please get in touch with any of us. You've got, as long as you've got the chat copied out there, and then you can get our contact details there. Okay, so it looks like this is the end, folks. So I'm going to have this again in another 2 weeks, but it will be later on the Sunday to try and pick up other time zones. So for us, it probably suits every month. And then next week it will suit another time zone forget the BST, the BDT, the PDT, the PMQ. I have no flogging idea. I mean, ask Stephanie about UTC. I mean, that just blew our mind. Standard times. My chart. She's making fun of my chart. Now, you know, I'm like an old-fashioned girl here. Stephanie, behave yourself.
We do know we can just ask Abbott and he will tell us the time.
Yeah, I've done that. But, you know, I just thought I'd show him up and say, I know that. We just do ourselves. And this, sometimes this just gives my brain a rest. Yes, what, Abbott?
Nowadays, there's an app for that.
Thank you, Abbott.
That's okay. I still use paper too. I have notebooks beside me.
It is a right brain, left brain thing. Absolutely. It's a right brain, left brain thing. And it's a very
Vegemite dance. Dance.
Absolutely. So
What is that? I filled out something for that, and well, I looked it up what it is, but I filled out a form and it had that on there. I was like, "What the heck is this?" But I looked it up.
Don't just stop.
It's the most amazing thing in the world.
I saw it. I looked it up.
There's
it's like a jelly
value at all. And look, I just love Bonnie's. Look, if I hadn't have known you, Bonnie, I would have thought, who is this dame? Because in Australia, if someone does something really stupid and they are professed to knowing what they're doing and they do something really stupid in public, an Australian will say, well, that's special. And when you said, oh, that's special.
Oh, no. I
thought,
it was
who is that?
Oh,
it's It's Bonnie.
No, I believe in the UK. No, they call in the UK cheeky, right? Cheeky cow. No, it's not being a cheeky cow. Bless your heart, right, Stephanie? That's right.
Okay, I'm going to turn that.
Rule that if you like Vegemite, you won't get into the Innovator Academy. So you have to hate Vegemite.